Belinda Dubston, and welcome to the I Ching Cafe, to this channel, to this podcast, depending where you're coming from. Welcome. Thank you for being here with me. My name is Belinda Dubston, and it is our opportunity to check into what the I Ching is asking us to pay attention to this week, for the week commencing the 17th of January, 2022. Well, we are halfway into January already. Time flies when you're having fun, I guess. And so go along and check out the monthly overview if you have not yet had the chance to do so, where decrease is on the cards and learning and stubbing our toes when we want to rush ahead, when its time is not right. That's up for us this month as we learn how to augment our experience. For the 3 months in a row, we've had this energy of youthful folly guiding us forward. So go and check it out. So last week we had hexagram 54, Marrying Maiden. I mentioned last week it's quite a tough hexagram. It requires us to really trust the process and really appreciate that change is taking place around us beyond what we can see. We have to appreciate there are things outside of what we can see, and there were some interesting changing lines on the basket being empty, an opportunity being devoid of nourishment and possibility, and also recognizing take the second position, take the back seat, because that is how we find power in the week. And then to take one step at a time, treading hexagram 10, how we make our way, we don't rush ahead too fast. So how did you experience Marrying Maiden and treading last week? What were the big changes that shaped your week, that came into awareness, that really highlighted that we really aren't in control as much as we would like to think we are? We have to trust the flows of change working around us. And certainly working with the I Ching has taught me a lot about how to trust the flows, and I'm still a work in progress. So let's have a look at this week. What is the I Ching asking us to pay attention to this week? Well, our first hexagram for the week is an old friend that keeps on coming back, thankfully, is hexagram 53, Development. This is the marriage hexagram, symbolically. So maybe you are getting married this week, congratulations, or engaged. But this symbolizes what it takes to make a long-term marriage work. And what we do is we show up every day. We develop, we invest time in developing and growing what we are creating in this relationship. So development this week for you. Go and look at the things that are your long-term projects that you're working on, whether that is a relationship, whether that is a business itself or a project within a business or a client. What is the long-term thing that you have been working towards that perhaps is in your goal list for 2022? And the I Ching is drawing our attention to how we work at putting in place the ongoing development to keep on moving that project forward. Development, in a way, is a little bit boring in that it's a sustainable approach to things. It asks us to keep on showing up and keep on putting one foot in front of the other as we ascend the symbolic mountain. The mountain being a symbol of achievement and completion and reaching a higher level of awareness. So we show up, we pitch, we put one foot in front of the other, we do the work, we grow, we keep on putting in the love and the care to get us all somewhere. This is not the exciting, exploding energy of big, spurts of growth and then withdrawals, and big pushes and then withdrawals. This is plodding up the mountain, okay? Every day we show up. Now, this week we have 2 changing lines in the 4th and the 6th position. So let's have a look at, within this context of development, the specific things the I Ching is asking us to pay attention to this week. And with these changing lines, what it might mean is we become aware of something. Not necessarily that the 1 week contains all the development and growth related to this thing, but perhaps it just allows us to become aware of something that we can work on differently in this week. So, in the 4th position, our first changing line says, the wild goose finds a tree. Now, you'll remember from previous sessions when we had this hexagram that this whole hexagram tells a story, the changing lines tell the story of this wild goose making its way to the summit of the mountain, to the fulfillment of what it is aiming to achieve. And in this changing line, the wild goose reaches a tree. Okay. And what the tree means is the tree is not the home and the final resting place of this wild goose. In fact, it's not necessarily even comfortable as a place for this wild goose to land. But in the midst of difficulty, having come out of challenges, having gone through a whole lot of processes, the opportunity to find a branch on a tree and to take a load off is present this week. And the I Ching says, if we are wise, we see the tree, we recognize this is not our final place, this is not an ideal situation, but let me find a branch to rest on and just get a little bit of a time out, a respite from this whole journey of development that we've been on. So if you get the opportunity to land on the branch, take it. Find a way to just take a bit of pressure off, okay? Just have a little rest and gather your thoughts so that you can then push on for the next phase. And of course, the next phase is the next changing line in changing line 6. And this says, the wild goose reaches the summit. Changing line number 6 is one of the most beautiful and significant changing lines that I've come across in the I Ching. It's beautiful. It says that we have reached the top of the mountain. We have reached our resting place. We have reached a sense of achievement, a culmination point. We have arrived at a place that is ours, and we become a symbol to others of what's possible. So it's not just about what we can achieve for ourselves, but the symbols of our love and commitment to what we're doing become symbols to inspire others. We become the symbols. And it's like the feather as a symbol. Think of the ancient Egyptians, of this feather that gets measured against a heart on a scale. And if your heart is as light as a feather, you may pass into heaven. But if you don't, you go the other way, okay? So this whole process, the symbol of the sacred feather of the wild goose, of reaching a place of safety, and how that symbol becomes an inspiration for others is very powerful. What an amazing changing line for us to work with this week. So look at what might be the culmination points, the transition points of things coming together, of things finally making sense perhaps. If there's been an area of your confusion, where does everything come together and it now all makes sense. Things just connect. What a wonderful line. So where does this all lead us to? Well, our outcome hexagram, our second relating flow of change related to this week is hexagram 31, influence. Okay. What's really interesting about this hexagram is that whereas 53 is one of two hexagrams referred to as the marriage hexagram, hexagram 31 is also known as the courtship hexagram. Okay, so if we think about marriage, long-term sustainable growth as a couple, as a team towards where we're needing to get to, and courtship is the exciting bubble and fizz of a new relationship. It's all exciting and it's all new and there's lots of energy and it's very exciting on all fronts. That is what courtship energy is about. And so that is the hexagram's energy. 31, influence, is about this surge of energy and something that comes to influence you, which is like suddenly something just grabs your imagination, grabs you, and you feel drawn to it and you feel attracted to it. Like, a couple feels attracted to each other in courtship. There's this high attraction and high energy, and it's just, you feel this is something that you need to do. You just feel drawn forward. So what we're being asked to pay attention to this week is pay attention to where we feel the influence. Now, the thing with this hexagram, what it's asking us to pay attention to is to be in our feminine yin receptive energy. Okay. The way we work with this is we don't charge forward with male active energy. We embrace, we create the space, and we bring together things. So influence is as much as recognizing that we're being triggered by something that's calling to us. But our job is to bring things together, to draw things together, bring them together, reconnect things that belong together and unite them and bring them and focus them into something really wonderful. So both these hexagrams have a very powerful energy. Growth and development from hexagram 53, and attraction and energy and influence and movement and excitement coming with hexagram 31, but calling us to be the mother to that energy, to draw it together, to allow the influence to attract and to put together those special things that belong together, put together the partners in the courtship. Okay, very interesting energy for us to work with this week. And I'm sure for some people this week, this might be an opportunity to step into those relationships with the courtship, and we've got development and we've got long-term prospects coming out of the woodwork. How exciting for those of you who are looking for a relationship. I affirm this is the week. Something connects, something flows, and the attraction is there, and you find something really interesting to inspire you with this week. Thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe. Really good to have you join me again. And I look forward to seeing you at our next weekly overview. So I'll see you on the socials, but I will definitely see you soon.